Today's topic is the inference question. Why? Because you guys have been asking for it. And it is also one of the more difficult questions. So today's passage is made by yours truly, as always. And this is an inference question. And the SAT does not actually use the word inference anymore. So those of you who've been doing the paper SAT, you would know it can reasonably be inferred was the language they use for inference. They used to. But they don't do that anymore, but they still call it inference. So what do they say instead? As you guys know, do you read this first? Of course not, right? You go right to the directions that says, which choice most logically completes the text? Most logically completes the text. It doesn't have the word inference, but that's what SAT's calling it with their official language. This is the inference question on the digital SAT. Okay, so what should we do? This is, again, up to you guys. If you guys are okay with the timing on the digital SAT, you could read through the whole thing, and that's not a bad idea. But if you're rushed for time, this stuff here, you can skim. And it's really right here, and maybe the sentence before. So, as we've been doing with these digital SAT questions, you want to look at the last sentence of the passage, and maybe the sentence before. And let's see how much you guys have been keeping up with the videos. Where do we see a really important indicator in the last sentence? Dramatic pause. Okay, it's however. Yeah. Whenever I say however, but, or in contrast, you guys are familiar with this, right? I'm saying my main point afterward, right? Like when I was in high school, I went to this girl's house to ask her for prom, blah, 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 right? And she's like, oh, Jay, this is really sweet, blah, blah, blah. However, I'm going with somebody else. It's okay. I think she's married to somebody else now. Anyway, so like the however, the stuff comes after is my main point. So right here, rapid-induced soil displacement can promote loss. All I want to figure out is, okay, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because they don't actually need you to know real science on SAT reading. They really don't, okay? So let's say I don't know what biodiversity is, although you should. You should, it's important, right? But even if I don't, it's loss of diversity and also it's accelerating disease. Wow, that's really bad, right? So my answer here is suggesting that the kicking action habits, rabbits, is bad. But we're not done there, okay? Because we noticed the word however and also the word but. Because I've gone through the Khan Academy inference questions, right? They always use the word but a lot, right? That means I have to have a contrast. So if I say something is bad, what's a contrast? Good. So good is bad. That sounds dumb, but it's going to be something like good, but sometimes bad. That's my main idea, okay? So from, again, two things. From the fact that we had negatives in the last sentence, and from the fact that we had the word however, that means it must be a contrast. How do you have a contrast with a negative? These things were good, these things are bad. That's my contrast. Okay, if you want, you guys can read through this. I would appreciate if you did, because I typed this up with my broken wrist. It's getting better, thanks guys. Oh, thanks for the well wishes, by the way. Okay, but let's just jump right to the questions. Okay, so you can immediately eliminate which ones? C and D, that's right guys, good job. Why? Because I just said it has to be these things are good, however, these things are bad. I don't have good or bad in these two answer choices. So C and D are out, and Sexy J subscriber, you guys probably already were on top of that. So now we have to choose between A and B, okay? So is it the small but large, or is it the location that causes the badness, okay? This is now when I finally decide to read the passage. You do not need to read the passage beforehand. So now I will, let me get rid of some of this for you, clean it up. Now I will figure out and go back and see what's the thing that causes things to be good or bad. Is it the small diversity versus large diversity, or is it the location? Well, right here. At the edges of the fields, it's bad. So at the edges of the fields, it's bad. So when is it bad? When it's at the edge. Is that a location? Yes, it is. So my answer here is B. Again, and as I say this like every single passage, right? You didn't really need any of these words at all, okay? So you guys can read them if you feel more comfortable having more of a sense of what's going on, but I also want to advise you guys, if I read this and I don't understand what's going on because I don't know the science, that's perfectly fine, guys. You don't have to know science for SAT reading and writing, okay? So that's our inference question, guys. So to sum up, we can tell it's an inference question when, my voice, excuse me. You can tell it's an inference question when you see the phrase most logically completes the text. Then you look at the last sentence. Up to here, same thing, right? And then you look for what is the relationship with the rest of the passage. Most typically, it'll be a however, in contrast, or a but. So you're looking for, it was good, but it was bad. Or it was busy, but it was fine. You know, some type of contrast, right? That's it, guys. That's it for today's quick and dirty. And again, do not be intimidated by the digital SAT passages seeming like they're difficult or fancy or scientific. Don't worry about that, okay? And the next two videos that are coming up, especially targeted for August SAT takers, only from the advanced section of the SAT reading and writing as determined by College Board. See you guys next time. Thank you all the time. And study every day with who? Sexy J. That's the best way. Bye-bye.